The studio of The View buzzed with its usual cocktail of nerves, caffeine, and half-finished conversations that floated through the air like static. Assistants darted across the floor balancing stacks of note cards, hairstylists tugged at stray curls, and a producer whispered urgently into her headset as if the fate of the entire network depended on whether a guest preferred sparkling or still water. Yet beneath all that familiar chaos, something shifted the moment Jennifer Garner walked in. It wasn't the dramatic kind of shift, the hush that falls when someone intimidating arrives. No, Jennifer carried a different kind of gravity, one that softened the noise and warmed the edges of the room. She smiled at everyone she passed, the stagehand adjusting the lighting rig, the intern crouched on the floor sorting cables, the makeup artist who froze mid-spray when she realized she was in Jennifer Garner's path. Jennifer thanked people, she complimented their earrings, she remembered a producer she'd met years ago and asked about her daughter by name. She made the whole environment feel human, something even the nicest celebrities rarely accomplished. "Jennifer, we'll bring you on in the second segment," a production assistant told her as she guided her toward the guest chair. "Just relax until then." Jennifer nodded, smoothing the simple navy dress she'd chosen, nothing flashy, just comfortable, elegant. Her hair fell in loose waves, her makeup was natural, and her smile, even when casual, seemed permanently laced with sincerity. She was here to promote a new initiative she'd helped create, a program aimed at supporting underfunded schools with everything from books to free meals to after-school tutoring. It was work she believed in with her entire heart, the kind of project that mattered far more to her than any Hollywood premiere or magazine cover. She hoped the segment would shine a light on the kids, the teachers, and the overwhelming need she'd witnessed firsthand. That hope lasted exactly 6 minutes. Because as Jennifer settled into her seat and adjusted the mic clipped to her collar, she noticed Joy Behar at the opposite end of the table flipping through her cards with an expression that set off alarm bells. Joy wasn't aggressive, not yet, but she was preparing something. That look had made countless guests sweat. It meant Joy had questions that weren't on the script. Questions she thought were better. Juicier. Messier. Whoopi Goldberg leaned back in her chair, clearing her throat to prepare for the countdown. She glanced toward Joy, then at Jennifer, and gave a subtle, almost apologetic smile. As if to say, "Brace yourself, honey." Sunny Hostin tapped her pen on her notes, offering Jennifer a warm smile that reassured nobody. Alyssa F. looked like she was silently praying the segment didn't turn political. Sarah Haynes adjusted her chair height, then adjusted it again, because Sarah always adjusted something when she was nervous. A stagehand raised his hand. Going live in 5, everyone straightened. Jennifer inhaled deeply, centering herself the way she'd practiced in meditation. She felt calm. She felt prepared. 3, 2, 1. The red light above the main camera blinked on. Whoopi's voice launched into the intro, rich and practiced. "Welcome back to The View. We have the lovely, the talented, the always delightful Jennifer Garner with us today." The audience erupted in applause, loud, enthusiastic, genuine. Jennifer smiled, grateful, dipping her head slightly. Whoopi continued, "Jen's been working on an incredible initiative supporting public schools across the country. Tell us a little about what inspired this project." "Well," Jennifer said warmly, "I've been visiting schools for years now, especially in rural areas, but she didn't get to finish." Joy leaned forward, elbows planted on the table, voice cutting clean across the conversation. "Jennifer, let me ask you something real. The kind of real that made producers wince." Jennifer blinked politely. "Of course." Joy lifted one of her cards like it was a piece of evidence in a courtroom. "You're known for being America's sweetheart. Sweet. Perfect. Too perfect, sometimes. And look, we all adore you, but don't you ever feel like you're playing it too safe?" The audience let out a collective, "Ooh." Not loud, but noticeable. Sunny's eyebrows shot up. Sarah inhaled sharply. Even Whoopi's eyes widened in that slow girl what are you doing way. Jennifer kept her smile poised, though it faltered by a hair. Joy pressed on. "And listen, I know you're here to talk about your charity, great cause, wonderful work. But I also know people want honesty. You've been through a lot. Your ex-husband out there in the tabloids every 5 minutes. Do you ever want to just speak your mind? Call him out, say what you really think instead of staying nice all the time?" Another wave of murmurs stirred in the audience. Cameras zoomed in instinctively. This was TV gold. Jennifer felt her face grow still. Not cold, not angry, just still. The kind of stillness that hinted a line had been crossed. She wasn't surprised Joy asked about Ben. Interviewers always found a way to bring him up. But she had expected better today. Expected the focus to stay on children who needed help, not on a marriage that ended years ago. Jennifer exhaled slowly. She kept her chin lifted, posture poised, voice even. Well, she said carefully, I think. But Joy interrupted again. Because I'm just saying, Jen, don't you ever get tired of being everybody's favorite nice girl? The air inside the studio felt thick, as if someone had quietly turned down the oxygen. The audience leaned in, hands over mouths, waiting to see how Jennifer would respond. She wasn't known for confrontations. She wasn't known for exploding or snapping or clapping back. But the calm stillness in her expression was more powerful than anger. It was the kind that came from years of choosing grace over gossip, dignity over drama, until someone pushed just a little too far. Jennifer rested her hands lightly on the table, fingers interlaced. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was soft enough that the microphones had to catch it carefully. But that softness was intentional, deliberate, the kind that commanded quiet rather than filling it. Joy, she said, and the name landed without hostility, just wait, I want to answer your question honestly. But I need to make something clear first. Joy blinked, perhaps expecting deflection, perhaps expecting another sweet diplomatic line. Jennifer's posture didn't waver. She looked straight at her, not harshly, but with the unmistakable steadiness of someone who had made peace with who she was and who she refused to be. You asked if I ever get tired of being nice, Jennifer said calmly. If I get tired of not speaking out about things people think I should speak out about. She nodded once. Of course I do. I'm human. I have feelings. I get frustrated. I get hurt like anyone else. A murmur rippled through the audience, surprised by her openness. But here's the difference, she continued. I don't confuse honesty with cruelty. And I don't confuse attention with integrity. Joy's smile tightened, just slightly. She wasn't used to being addressed so directly, especially not by someone with Jennifer's gentle reputation. Jennifer leaned her elbow softly on the table, still composed. I'm a mother. I'm raising 3 kids. They hear things, they read things, they see things online. And I won't be the person who adds to the noise by tearing down someone they love. A few people in the audience nodded, some even whispered, wow. Jennifer's tone didn't rise, if anything, it deepened, growing firmer. Ben is the father of my children. Whatever our personal history is, whatever mistakes were made, whatever challenges we've faced, he's a human being. And he's a part of their lives. I don't get to use him as a punchline just because it might get clicks or laughs. The cameras zoomed in. Even the cameraman had stopped blinking. So when you ask why I don't call him out, she said, it's not because I'm too nice. It's because I choose respect. I choose privacy. And I choose to carry myself in a way that doesn't make my children pay for the choices adults make. Whoopi slapped the table lightly. Lord have mercy, she whispered, half impressed, half delighted. Joy inhaled, preparing to defend herself. Well, Jen, I wasn't trying to. But Jennifer gently lifted a hand, not rudely, not abruptly, simply enough to pause her. Let me finish, please. Joy froze. The entire table froze. Everyone in the room could feel the shift, not aggressive but authoritative. A boundary drawn by someone who rarely needed to draw them. Jennifer's voice softened again. I came here to talk about kids who don't have basic supplies. Kids who show up to school hungry. Teachers who buy supplies with their own money. Entire communities doing their best with far too little. The sincerity in her voice cracked through the tension like sunlight cutting haze. She wasn't performing. She wasn't pivoting to save face. She meant every word. So, she said, when you steer the conversation toward drama, toward gossip, it takes away from the people who need attention the most. And that's the part that really disappoints me. Joy's expression shifted. It wasn't anger now. It was something closer to embarrassment. A rare emotion for her, made more powerful because she couldn't hide it. Sunny lowered her eyes, pretending to read her notes even though she was listening with every cell in her body. Sarah held her breath. Alyssa silently mouthed, oh my god. Whoopi looked like she wanted popcorn. Jennifer straightened again, folding her hands neatly. I'm not too nice, Joy. I'm kind. There's a big difference. Kindness is a choice you make even when you're hurting. Even when it would be easier to lash out. Even when people expect you to deliver fireworks instead of compassion. The audience applauded, slowly at first, then louder, then erupting into cheers. It wasn't a polite daytime TV applause. It was a "you just watched someone win a war without raising their voice" kind of applause. Joy held up her hands, managing a smile, though it was a humbled one. All right, she said, exhaling. Point taken. Jennifer smiled too, warm again, but with an unmistakable confidence. Thank you. Whoopi jumped in immediately, eager to pull the show back on track. Okay, can we please talk about this incredible program you're running? Before Joy starts something else. Laughter filled the room, a release of all the tight energy. Jennifer laughed softly, grateful for the shift. Yes, please, I'd love that. She began explaining the initiative, her voice brightening as she talked about children she'd met, teachers she'd admired, the heartbreaking stories she hoped to change. And this time, no one interrupted her. Not Joy, not anyone. The audience listened with genuine interest, soaking up her passion and sincerity. But the earlier moment lingered, like a quiet aftershock.